USA.
Fence riders
are our specialty.
It is time to drain the swamp.
My home this is!
It's fun and effective to go after the typical Disney Star Wars shills. In some cases, it can even be courageous. But real courage and resolve comes from going after those on our side.
Who would have thought that the two of us would be fighting side by side?
The shills are the obvious enemy, and we fight them in conventional warfare.
The commie bastard gets no food!
But fence riders are a bigger threat, as they prevent more people from categorically rejecting Disney Star Wars. They never take a hard stance. They contradict their previous proclamations and fight hard to devise new ways to maintain hope for their largely normie audience.
Unless we stop watching Disney Star Wars, they will finally and forever extinguish that small spark of that galaxy far, far away. And so at last, my friends, here is my review of the first 3 episodes of Star Wars Skeleton Crew.
They go out of their way to appease people in their audience who may openly like Disney Star Wars, becoming puppets for the attention and reach. Just like politicians running on a platform to represent their supporters' interests in Washington, only to become corrupted and course reversers once the pendulum swings the other way the next election cycle.
You know, I want to make sure that I don't fall into kind of like, let me hate everything that they make, because there are some projects that they make that I really enjoy.
I really liked Baby Dumbo.
Yeah.
It is time to drain the swamp.
Sometimes it's blatant arrogance, thinking their audience is too stupid to see through their obvious pandering to the enemy.
When he comes around that corner, no fuss, no muss, and wait for his name again.
And you could actually hear some gasps in the chamber.
I wasn't a fan of John McCain.
Throw in a little false victimhood, and you have a supposed recipe for prime viewer cultivation and retention.
Sending attacks to my channel, downvoting my videos, comments, and people just starting to get this weird idea about me.
When my husband was attacked,
let's not forget the cope mechanism created in 2020, that there was an internal struggle or a civil war going on at Disney Lucasfilm, with Jon Favreau pitted against Kathleen Kennedy, the former being the one whom we should support. The scoop grift is meant to act as a credibility building mechanism, and when they set themselves up with easy outs or simply claim it is all rumor or a grain of salt, the dullards in their audience will clap gleefully as they rationalize the scooper's correctness no matter the outcome.
So WDW Pro put out 2 stories a couple days apart. One is like, hey, Favreau and Filoni have this plan to fix Luke Skywalker. And then like a couple days later, he's like, oh, the other people at Lucasfilm don't want this to happen, so they're actively going to prevent it. So I even made in my video, I was like, listen, that's a pretty easy thing for a scooper to do, because you're always going to be right, aren't you? If they do retcon Luke's retcon of what happened, then you're right. If they don't, you're also right. It's convenient
Because that side just lost.
Yeah.
Really convenient.
You could make an argument for don't hate the player, hate the game. But for those scum to willfully deceive and dupe their audiences, it makes them nobody I want to associate with. It should be one of the primary objectives to share the truth and push the goal of making Disney Lucasfilm fail, whether their content is good or not. Speaking of so-called good, isn't Mandalorian Season 2 hailed as good by the fence riders?
Ready? Fight!
We lost our whole division that day. Man, I was like 10,000 people.
Hand me that cycler rifle.
We all need to sleep at night.
Even when they don't outright proclaim a production to be good, they leave the next week, the next production, the next Disney Star Wars thing as something to look forward to.
Best Star Wars thing since Revenge of the Sith. Seeing that innocent face of Anakin again after everything he went through. This one hit deeper than Luke and Qui-Gon Return. Shed some tears.
Or maybe deeper than Lobot.
I'm like wondering what we're going to see next week.
None of these approaches have worked over the past 5 years. Kathleen Kennedy continues to be president of Disney Lucasfilm, Real canon has not been restored, and Disney Star Wars is still terrible. Lies and half-truths, false hope, rationalizations, promoting dead-end strategies, and not having the best interests of viewers in mind are the main crimes of these swamp denizens. They absolutely refuse to go on the attack and promote the failure of Disney Star Wars. They make their supporters think they can simultaneously be anti-Disney while supporting Disney productions. I am here to tell you that you cannot.
I actually did vote for the $87 billion. Before I voted against it.
Join me in rejecting Disney Star Wars, promoting the preservation of real Star Wars, and having fun dunking on shills and fence riders alike. Don't give shills the time of day just to be diplomatic. Join the real rebellion and help us to
drain the swamp.